mate.
What a lovely introduction.
Fancy seeing you here, Boo Boo.
I know. What are you doing here?
It's a bit more
Just passing
professional.
by and you just bumped into me.
It's a bit more professional. So look, we're going to be talking about all things cryptos today. Welcome to our show, your show, if you will, with me, Gaven, the host, and our resident professional trader, Mr. Andy Demi. Crypto Like a Pro is the name of the show. And you've guessed it, we talk about all things cryptos. We're going to be talking about market sentiment. We're going to be talking about being market neutral and hedging the market, what that entails, what that means. And as usual, we will jump in to some live chart action on Bitcoin and try and see where we're going. Now, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I had a look at the chart earlier and it looks pretty much like your crystal ball worked perfectly on Bitcoin. With results over the last 24 hours, right?
It literally has, mate. It's done exactly what we spoke about on the show. First place.
We'll hold that until then. We'll just do a couple of hellos. So we have got Slavomir on Facebook. Good to have you with us, Slav. If you're tuning in, maybe you're new, maybe you're just lazy and you don't hear us when we say this every show, every week, please click on the StreamYard link so that we can see your name and your photo, like Conor. Good to have you with us, my friend. Great photo. We can see your name. We feel like you're with us and not just like Andy's talking to me and I'm talking to Andy. We've got Zach in the house. We've got Julie in the house. And we've got Nicholas representing us on the YouTube live crew. Julie, you are too kind. Best show ever.
What coin is that?
That's her own coin. She's created her own blockchain.
I'll buy some. I'll buy some, Julie.
Yeah, what's the rate? Give us a good price. Maybe we
give
can
us a before you list it on the exchange. Give us that price.
We'll get some master nodes on it. We'll start getting some tokens being made. That is the way to go. We've also got Daniil in the house, and good to have you with us, my friend. So, I actually got a question for you, and I forgot to mention this yesterday because we had an action-packed show, but I'll forget it, and then I won't even get to mention it. So this weekend, I fancied some like English food, and I had this craving for jacket potato. Have not had a jacket. I know, right?
The worst thing to it.
Why? Why's your reaction there?
What? Like of all the foods that you let me have a jacket potato, like the cheapest student food you can get.
Exactly.
And stick it in the microwave.
Exactly. Well, no microwave, but yeah, I get your point. So my missus was kind of like, I was like, I fancy something different. She was like, well, and I was like, jacket potato. So then we had this conversation and I was like, in London, it's jacket potato, baked beans. Well, actually, no, let me ask you. So if I say jacket potato, what food do you associate with it apart from studentness? But jacket potato, what would you have in your jacket potato? And please, if you're
cheese and beans.
Cheese and beans. Okay, cool. So I would go.
Some people have tuna, but
there you go. There you go. See, so I was like, all of the above. I don't hardly eat cheese, but I was like, do you know what? I'll have a bit of melted cheese. And tuna. You gotta have tuna. And the secret is the red onion. I love red onion on pretty much anything. So if you put red onion, a little bit of mayo in there to mix up the tuna, and then you're good to go. And my missus was like, she looked at me like you did, but she was like, tuna? Are you kidding? Because she's like obviously an Aussie, and she was like, that is so weird having tuna. I don't. And I was like, is this a cultural thing or not? So thank you for saying that because it makes me feel like I'm totally not out of touch with reality. And then she goes on to put an avocado. She was like, I'm not having tuna. That's weird. I'm having cheesy beans and avocado with mine. Who has avocado on a jacket potato?
I thought the Aussies were into kangaroos.
That's both racist and very mean.
No, it's not. It's not the truth.
Do you know what? One time when I was going through a meat eating phase, we did a family barbecue, and my mate brought over some kangaroo on the barbecue, and it absolutely stank. It was so, and it was an outside barbecue.
Have you eaten it before?
I think I had a little nibble, but I was like, that is just Criminal.
What's that Australian bar that begins with W?
Walkabout.
Yeah, and they do a kangaroo burger, I remember. I didn't order it.
Oh, do they? I don't know about
Walkabout,
that.
yeah, good remembering. Do they have that in Australia? Are they actually in Australia, or is it just
on every street corner, mate? On
Walkabout.
every.
Oh, wow.
No.
No.
If they do, I mean, that's probably just one of these branding things that we'll call it an Australian themed bar.
Like Nando's. I bet it's not even in Portugal.
That's very true. That is very true, actually. So look, going into some of the comments, Con is saying tuna is my nickname. See, I was worried. I know, Con, you reside in you're an Aussie as well. So maybe Brucey is correct when he's just saying your missus is weird, Gav. I think that could be the case because dismissing tuna with your jacket potato and putting in avocado is a little bit strange. One thing I cannot jump in on, though, I do not like sweet corn. Sweet corn is just a waste to me. So I can't be doing that. But yeah, apart from that, mate, I agree with you. I put red onion in instead of my sweet corn. So Dan Tyler's in the house. Walkabout is where I used to go clubbing at uni. I think we all did, mate. And I'm not too proud to admit that I've done one too many snake bites in the past. I can't even remember what was in it, but they are lethal, aren't they? Do you remember those?
No. I'm very sensible, mate. I don't know what snake bites are.
Fair enough. We've also got Kev V in the house. Had an Aussie meat platter once in Ken. Ken's is super nice. Like
crocodile apparently just tastes like chicken. Does it really? Apparently.
So he
had it.
I don't know what emu tastes like, but I would imagine it's quite tough. So yeah, kangaroo, emu, and crocodile. Susan's in the house. We've started something now, mate, so we might as well carry on. Jacket potato with mince, tacos. See, now this is a classy lady. None of this student fare. This is like jacket potato with mince, spices, pasta sauce, cheese, coleslaw, sour cream.
I'd buy that.
I'm in. As long as it doesn't have sweet corn in it, then I'll give it
luxury jacket potato.
It is. Garry, you haven't really missed much, to be fair. Sorry, no need to apologise. We're just talking about jacket.
Well, he's missed very important things if he wants to cook a jacket potato.
Some ingredients. Okay, look, so we've had a bit of a laugh and a giggle. Let's get on with things because right now there's a lot of confused looks. There's a lot of confused scratches going on. I woke up this morning, obviously the news that China's biggest property developer is on the verge of defaulting, going bust. That's caused the stock markets to go down. It's caused crypto's got in the last 24 hours, crypto's is taken a poop. Like, mate, what is going on from the point of view of a professional trader? Because like I said in my video for this tease for this show, the only thing I'm sure of is that we're going through a massive change. And if people don't realize that, then fine. I think the people that are on this show, you are the pioneers. Pioneers? You're the pioneers. This ginger beer, non-alcoholic. The bubbles have gone to my head. You guys know where it's at. You're smarter than the average bears, as I've already said. I think we all know that change is coming, but it feels like we're in the middle of the storm right now. And I've been hearing things that there's going to be more craziness coming. And then other people are like, oh yeah, crypto's to the moon still. So there's all of that. As a professional trader, please give us some voice of reason and some sanity. What are you seeing as a professional trader right now?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's important is, in many ways, you've got to take every kind of view with a pinch of salt and just be prepared for anything. You know, the drop, the sell-off in the stock market and the sell-off in cryptos is a standard kind of risk-off play, because, you know, typically when it's working as it should, bonds will increase in value, stocks will go down. So a risk-off play, and that's what we saw. Bonds went up, stock market went down, cryptos went down, so the risky assets went down. But more specifically with cryptos, this is not something unexpected. There's always volatility, and it's something we've spoken about before. When we did our analysis on Bitcoin, we made the case for it going to where it's gone to. It's literally gone into the box, and it has bounced in our box, but that doesn't mean it's the low. It doesn't mean it's the low. Now, the thing is, when you do your work, what you should be able to identify is, once you've identified those zones, you should get a reaction, which we are. But that doesn't mean it's the low, because we've also made the case for another leg lower as well, potentially. So we'll speak about that when we go more on the charts. But I think the biggest opportunities right now is trading your account. I trade at people ask me, what's the best time to trade? Anytime. There's volatility. I've got to be honest with you guys. Yesterday I had a bit of a tough day, hard day. I was tired. I didn't trade.
He was grumpy.
I was grumpy. Must admit. Didn't sleep much. So I thought, I'm not going to trade, because I'm going to end up, I was watching the markets, but I'm going to end up just taking some trades. And if I'm not switched on, and I lose money, I'm going to be really annoyed with myself. So I didn't trade, left them there. They did do what I thought they were going to do, but I was fine with it, because I didn't do proper analysis. And then I kind of looked at the markets in the evening, and I ended up trading until 2-3 in the morning. So it was once I'm in the zone, time just flies. And so I was day trading, and I always close my position. So I was just trying to get that last little pop, and I got it this time. So do you remember I said the other day, I think it was yesterday I was talking about it, where I left my trade and I closed it, and then it popped. And do you know what? I was about to do the same thing. And what I did this time is I just tightened the stop up, and I said, all right, I'm going to give you 5 more minutes, and I've got to go to sleep. And then it goes pop, and it popped, and it hit my target, and then I went to bed with a smile. But the point is that trading right now is so lucrative. You've just got to trade the swings, make money, and just have money in your spot right now. You can use a little bit of margin as well, just to kind of make your money go a bit further. But trying to guess where Bitcoin's going to bottom out, there's so many events happening. It really is a flip of a coin right now. My overall stance is bullish. I think I'd like to make a prediction that will break the all-time highs this year, but I don't know how exactly it's going to do it. Because I can make a case for everything, but it depends on various scenarios. A lot of things actually happening right now. As we've spoken about, the infrastructure bill, we've got FOMC tomorrow, which is going to have an impact on whether people are investing in risky assets or not, or risk off again. And then we've got the potential on the bullish side. Like I said, I think we're going to get a big announcement this year of one of the big players incorporating crypto within their platform. Someone like Amazon, for example, which I think will send the markets to the moon. So because of that reason, I think you should be invested, but not fully invested. Have a little bit of cash available for a drop. Have a bit of cash available, and don't over leverage, and trade. If you know how to trade and make money, grow your account that way, which is what I'm doing. I'm spending a few more hours because I'm enjoying it. I enjoy trading, and then using that money to eventually just put it back into spot, or have it ready, reserved for another drop.
Be honest, mate, it also gets you out of nappy changing duty, right? If you're up till 3 a.m.
No, that's the thing. It doesn't. I do all my bedtime stuff first, get the kids to sleep, have dinner, and then I go in the markets. And I guess the point is you can trade whenever. It really doesn't matter what your routine is or what your schedule's like. You've got the markets, just as always, opportunities, especially in cryptos.
Amen to that. So Right. So we've established a bit of normality now. Thank you for that. Especially for people that are kind of newer to the crypto circus. Just going to do a couple of shout outs. If you've got any questions, guys, let us know. We've got Anita in the house. Good to have you with us, Anita. Con saying, I think Gav's had one too many energy drinks. That's quite funny. And Nicholas is saying, yes, the China Evergrande group causing the first autumn dump. So apparently this is quite a seasonal thing as well, right? With regards to like what you've just said, things that are going on. It's almost like it's pre-orchestrated to a certain extent. And I don't know how we're going to get there, but a lot of people are sharing the same sentiment as you that we will hit those highs by the end of the year, definitely by Q1.
Carry on.
No, it's fine. Go for it.
No, all I was going to say is it's always a bumpy ride. And the thing that's interesting is that when a lot of people are speaking about something, it's unlikely that a lot of people are going to make money from that thing. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's designed that way to scare you off, to think, oh my God, it's going to go to zero. And that's why you get these violent crashes and these manipulations, because it's by design that way to scare you. So like the guy that's bought at 50,000 now because he thinks it's going to 100 is now sitting at a loss, and it goes to 38, 37. There's a point where he can't take it anymore, or his position's going to get liquidated. And and that's the thing. So it's always bumpy. It's like, it's never going to be in a straight line. So that's why you need to be prepared and ready. And that's why I say don't go all in. Have some money aside in preparation for a dip in case it happens. And I think it's important. And like I said, use the money and trade and grow your account that way anyway. And you could then, even if it does go up, you could still get in.
But we've also got to do a shout out to Raj. Good to have you with us. And then Facebook user, please identify yourself. Good question though. Is Binance Futures really closing in Oz? I guess I'm coming over to FTX.
I don't know too much about that, to be honest. I did hear something, but I don't know if I'm honest. But if that's the case, then I'm really, really happy with FTX. If you look at the volume going through FTX, it's one of the top 5. It might even be higher now. So that's really what you want. You want liquidity. I know some people have had a few problems. It takes a little bit of time to deposit funds with a bank transfer. It can take 1 or 2 days. But you've got to also bear with them. They've grown a lot very fast. And if you look at the support of Binance, it's not exactly 5-star. It's not exactly 5-star. And then
competition there, is there?
No. So, you've got to bear with them. I think the main thing that you're looking for is their liquidity, is the exchange safe. I'm really happy with FTX so far. And I use them as my trading account. I do obviously still use Binance.
Cool. And then another kind of question / comment. The only problem is figuring out when the swing is going to stop. I think that was back when we were talking about Bitcoin. Obviously, you've kind of answered that, but it leads us into our next segment, which is talking about market neutral and just going into that a bit more detail for anybody that may have missed it last week before we jump into Bitcoin and you get to say to everybody, I told you so.
No, I don't need to say I told you so. But yeah, it's look, being market neutral is a clever way to take advantage of market uncertainty. There's still risk to it, but it's as somebody put in the group, it's almost crash proof, because the reality is when Bitcoin goes, let's say 90%, 95% of the coins go with it. Like if there's a massive collapse in Bitcoin, everything starts to get dumped. It's just what happens. So, if you are, the reality is if you buy an overbought, if you with a market neutral position, what you're looking for is just looking to sell something that's a little bit overpriced and buy something that's a little bit undervalued. And then, and you could potentially make money on both. So it's like, I don't know, there's been some news, Atom gets pumped up, it's at $44, and you're thinking, okay, that's a great project, I think it's great for the long term, but it's at the top end of its envelope, it's overbought on the stochastic, it's going to probably retrace, or it's at its Fibonacci D, or it's going to go sideways and build up energy. It's probably not going to carry on going higher, although it could. The probabilities are less. And then you've got a coin that's maybe not done anything. It's just consolidated and just building up energy and coming back nicely to its long-term moving average. You combine those two and you think, okay, maybe I wouldn't sell Atom on its own, but if I combine it with buying this coin, let's say Cardano, for example, and selling Atom at the top, you're like, okay, I'm now in a market neutral position. And so it makes sense that eventually they'll catch up, especially if you're buying a good coin at a good price, there's every chance that that's going to go up and the other one isn't going to carry on going up because it's gone parabolic. And then you should make money potentially in both. So that's kind of something I do, especially when there's a lot of market uncertainty. So like if you look at Bitcoin now, you can see it's, it's 50-50 where it goes next. So because that's the case, you could have a big drop, you could have a big increase. Like having a few neutral positions in your trading portfolio makes sense. And you don't necessarily have to initiate them both at the same time, but you have it in your mind, that's what you're doing. So you might want to get a better price. So let's say you think, oh my God, the Atom's gone up parabolic. I think it can just have another little spike up because it's so fast, and you try and get that better price. And then you buy, one that's at a better. So you don't necessarily have to take them at the same time, but you can if you want to feel a bit safer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let us know in the comment section. And yeah, now we've kind of covered that. I just wanted to re-go over that point. So let's jump into our crypto trade setup of the week with Mr. Andy Demi. And just in case you're tuning in now, you're kind of a little bit late to everything that we've missed. Last week, we went and did the live chart analysis on Bitcoin. And woe and behold, again, here's Mystic Meg with his crystal ball. It went exactly in the area that Andy identified. So we're going to carry on the analysis now live on the charts. We'll jump over to Bitcoin and let's see if you can be as accurate now. So earlier in the show, you said you think we're at a 50-50 crossroads as to where we go next. So yeah. I'm interested as to why you're sat here saying that, because more often than not, you're pretty spot on with your prediction. So if you're saying that, this is going to be quite an interesting live chart analysis. So take it away, Mr. Demi.
Yeah, 2 seconds. Let's see if I can make my charts come down.
He always does this. I talk, I give him time, and then he starts pressing his buttons.
It's true.
Luckily, you're so good at trading, mate.
I do often do this.
So Nick is saying, feeling if we hit 36K Bitcoin, we'll have another final dump drop for 2021 to shake the market out at, big claim, at 19 to 28K and then break the all-time high. I wouldn't put it past the market, like Andy said earlier in the show. That is, look, more guys are buying in, more whales are coming in. We know that. So it's like, okay. And then there's another kind of more woo-woo theory about bad energies going out of the market and then new energies coming in because it's a revolution and all this sort of stuff. So there's so many interesting theories. Thank you for sharing yours. How much of that do you agree with? And let's find out why based on your chart analysis.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to kind of remind you of the areas that we spoke about last time we were doing this. We were speaking about Bitcoin, basically being around here, and the potential, it reached this 618, that we could, go towards this 200 EMA and these double purple lines that we drew in, which is old resistance becoming support. And the market has done that. So it's had its initial drop. It's got here. It's reacted as I would expect. And now it's pushing up. Now, where next, I guess, is the question. So right now, what's the easiest thing to predict? Well, because I can make a strong case for both, and that's not because the reality is that there comes a point in a market where there's a decision that needs to be made, and sometimes it's going to be based on external influences. So we can make a case for both, and we can be prepared for both. Just incidentally, actually, this was a channel line that we have closed below, which is quite interesting. So one thing to kind of look out for is to see what happens here if we close back in it, or if we reject. And then, so today is a bounce. Tomorrow will be the interesting one. So if we get a push up and then reject and close below, that could be a sign for the next leg down. Now, because this is quite messy, I'm just going to clean up a couple of little things here. So just to sort of make it a little bit easier to see. But what I wanted you to focus on here is that this 50 EMA, it has acted as support in the past. I think we highlighted this last time. You can see here dynamic support for this uptrend on the 50 daily EMA, and we know it's important. And then obviously off the back of this recent rally, guys, we went above the 50 EMA, and I don't know if that's it's not. We haven't actually come back to it until here, where we bounced, and then look, that's where we are now. So we are back below the 15, but we're kind of squeezed here between these two. So it's a decision point. That's what happens between the 50 and the 200. Obviously, we've had the cross up, which is bullish. If we do this from because I'm going to give you guys something specific to identify when the market may be going up, and it's going to help you, I believe. But let's say if this market was to kind of maybe come up, reject, and come here and start to push down, well, we've already spoken about this. This is where I would expect the market to go next, around 36.5 grand, which is the 1618, which is the Fibonacci target, and it is also a very, very strong old resistance that becomes support. But for those that really understand the fibs, let me just get rid of these lines. I just want to make sure you can see. If there's a massive correction, what happens is when you go against the trend, we often get that overextension. So those that have done the fibs before, that understand them, they'll understand this, that the market could potentially go and hit this 200 extension, which would take you down to approximately
about 33 in it, roughly.
No, I think it's lower. Is it? Oh, it is 33. Yeah, about there, 33. Which, yeah, that would take out quite a few people, I would say. That could be enough damage to take out, because that's, I don't mean it in a bad way, but that's kind of what the market needs. It needs to flush out the weak hands for it to go to where it needs to go.
So on that note, you say that, why? Just clarify that for people. Like, why does it need to flush these people out?
Well, I mean, the whales are the ones that move the market. So the big players are the ones that are going to ultimately make the money. And it's a game. It's a game of chess in a way. And you can't have everybody winning. It's a zero-sum game. So some people have to lose for others to win. It's just the nature of the game. So as part of the game, what we're going to do, we're going to try and take out the weak hands. How are we going to do that? Well, we'll create a pattern that sucks people in and then takes them out because they get scared or for whatever reason they can't hold their position, and then they're out of the game. So it's a zero-sum game. That's just the reality. It's like every market. So that's just how it works. Now, that's kind of the bearish scenario where we push down to here. And then if you see here, I mean, I like this level. You can see that it's got a lot of nice support around that 33,000. I think, is it possible to go lower? It is. I mean, if you really want to take out the market, you potentially go back and test, you go back and test this backside of the trend line, which is a very, very low extension down to 26K. That's possible as well. If you have a really, really bad, bad news comes out, everybody's despondent, you take out those lows and then you go. So all of these scenarios are possible. Now, the thing is it also possible for this market to now hold on its 200 like it has before and then go high? Absolutely, that's possible as well. So what I can say is that it was high probability to trade. I bought this, by the way, yesterday. I traded it though, just to put my hands up, and I took my profit before I went to bed. So it's gone up higher since then, but that's part of the plan when I'm trading. But even if I was going to hold this, I wouldn't be holding this beyond like this old support, for example. I'm just literally looking for the bounce, and then I'll let the market show me next where it's going to go. So you make your money, you get out. And again, if there's an opportunity to sell, I'll make my money and get out. That's just how to do it. Now, how do we know if it's ready to go up? So how do I know when to pile in? Well, if you keep 50% cash, 50% invested, or you could even do 50% invested in spot, maybe 40% cash and 10% in a trading account. Or whatever scenario, whatever ratios you like. If you're confident with your trading, I'd probably make the 50% into 25-25. So 25 cash, 25% in a trading account, and grow your trading account whilst the market's deciding. The best way that I kind of know as to when the market is going to go higher is by utilizing my market angles, because that's proof that the buyers are in control. So right now, this is the best market angle that I've got. It's a very reactive line. And I would be tempted to kind of use this in this way, where you say, okay, well, we've got that kind of market angle. Now you could go for something a little bit flatter as well. I mean, we can certainly have a look to see, because you can get a conservative entry. So if you really want to kind of invest and you want a conservative entry, you might want to go and have a look to see if there's anything. No, that's about the same. There's not really, yeah, they're about the same. It looks like it's the right one. Let me just see if there's anything else here that I should consider. Yeah, no, it's perfect. It's exactly what you want to see. Resistance becoming support, even reacts there. So right now, yeah, if you're going to kind of get in long, and really kind of say, okay, we're now heading higher, I would be looking for a close, guys, above here. You take out the high, you take out the market angle. So something like this. Let's draw it in. Holds on the 200. We take that high out, and then we are looking to buy this. And I think if you end up in a scenario like here, there's a strong chance we're going higher. One thing I'm going to just check, guys. I want to see where the 618 is of this whole move. Have we breached it, or are we there? Yeah, we're not far off that, are we? I think we pretty much held there, didn't we? Look there. It went slightly higher than the 618. Not quite here at our 70% level, but quite close. But yeah, that's where it's held so far. So I think taking out this high would really set us up for a push to take out these highs. And I think at this point here is probably where you want to kind of put in like that 25% that's sitting there and invest it across the board. So think of it like this: if you've got 50% cash and it does go higher, it means your money's made more money anyway. And now, okay, yes, you're buying slightly higher prices, but even then you could still wait for pullbacks and getting into your favorite coins and just add back in, knowing that likelihood is that we're going to now break these highs and make you a bit. And you can also use a little bit of margin if you feel confident. I mean, I personally would use margin at that point once I've got that confirmation. Let me just pause for a second, guys. Any questions coming in? Any thoughts? Let me know, and I'm just going to check something out.
Okay, guys. So jump in if you've got any questions or comments just while Andy's figuring out his next part of the analysis. But hopefully that kind of gives you a bit more clarity on where things are right now. It seems like we're all good. Nothing's coming in, so you may proceed.
Okay. I'm just going to check something out. Yeah, I just loaded up a new chart.
Okay, so just before you do that, Bruce is saying, Andy, does it have to take liquidity at lower levels?
Does it? What do you mean specifically?
Yeah,
does it have to take liquidity?
Yeah, so let us know. Just give us some clarity on that. And then Zach saying, in short, be prepared for both outcomes, and that reactive line can determine where things can go. Correct?
Yeah, and most importantly, be prepared for. So, like on the bullish side, great, it means you make more money. But on the bearish side, that's more important, because we need to make sure you're protected, because you're going to make really good money from cryptos most likely anyway. But in the short term, you've got to make sure that your account isn't at risk. That's the most important thing. So making sure that if you said, okay, if those scenarios played out, what if we did go to 20-odd thousand, for example, or 30-odd thousand? Would I survive that? And could I thrive in it? Potentially you could thrive, right? If you've got, let's say that happened and you had 50% in cash. So your 50% in cash is now halved. So if you had 10 grand, it's now 5. Okay. So if you had 20 in total and 10 was invested, so now it's 5. You've got 5 there. And then you buy, and then the market goes back to where it was now. Well, you actually end up in a better position. You end up making more by just it going back to where it was, because you're now able to buy at much cheaper prices. So in essence, it's just about preparing for the downside is what I want you guys to focus on, and trading to make extra income that you could invest. Has Brucey clarified what he means? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by does it have to take liquidity at like do you are you saying like do the whales have to buy at lower prices? Like is that what does, or could liquidity come into the current price? Is that what you're saying? Because I think there's liquidity now. I think it's a case of, I'm not sure if that's the question, but maybe if it clarifies, then I can answer it.
And also just another one from Susan whilst we're waiting for Brucey to figure out his final question. So Susan's saying, I'm new to this. Is FTX where you trade through instead of Binance in Australia?
Yes, exactly. So FTX would be the broker. Like I like FTX. So yes, it would be. It's an exchange essentially, and you can definitely use. It's an exchange. So you can use whatever exchange you like, but I'm a big fan. I've been using them now for a couple of months. We posted it in the group. Use the link if you haven't opened up an account. You get a discount on your fees as well. It's in the group. If you don't have it, just ask. But you can use any broker. I've just found FTX to have most of the cryptos. It doesn't have as much as Binance, admittedly. But if you can't use Binance, then yes, FTX, and they're adding cryptos all the time anyway. So there won't be too many that you can't find on there.
Cool. And then Brucey's come back in for another bite. Is there lower areas of liquidity? Is it likely to drop to collect it, or is it likely to just carry on upwards and leave it behind, if that makes sense?
Yeah, there's no. I mean, I guess it's like he's saying, like if there's like big bids lower down, is the market likely to drop and go through the gaps? I mean, it's not likely or unlikely, to be quite honest. There's normally some kind of agenda. I think you've just got to look out for what the market is showing us. There's no real. Yeah, I mean, if there's a group of powerful, traders that come together, like your Elon Musk's and those kind of, and they want to buy at lower prices, they can make that happen in cryptos at the moment. That's the reality. But no, it doesn't need to go down to lower levels. It can go up from here with the right news and the right environment. Like right now, where it is, it can go up. And I think, like I said before, I think we're at a decision point. We're at 50-50 in my opinion. But I do honestly think, no matter how it happens, I do think that we'll see the all-time high broken this year. So that's just, again, it's just a belief. I do think we'll break the all-time high, but it might get messy, but it doesn't have to go down there, essentially.
Cool. So it's about now keeping your nerve, right? If you especially if you've dollar cost averaged in and you've got some good prices on your way to paradise. It's like when I first started flying when I was younger, I used to hate the turbulence, but as soon as you land and you get to that exotic location, it's like, oh, this was totally worth it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if you want to make the most of, and this is a little bit more advanced, but if you want to make the most of the opportunities, like I'm a really big fan of managing the portfolio quite actively. So like to give you a kind of idea, if for example, Bitcoin went up, you could you could essentially take profits. You don't need to let it go all the way to the all-time high. You could take profits as it goes up. And I'm a big fan of that because I think, as you know, markets move in waves. They don't move in a straight line. And especially cryptos, as you said, Gavin, like they can get messy, they can get violent, and but ultimately we're doing this. The opportunity is there because of that, right? Like you've got all that turbulence, as you said, but the turbulence is there because the destination is worth it, and only few can kind of get through that turbulence. That's what you've got to remember. So when it happens, just be ready for it. Be ready for the turbulence rather than it sort of just hitting you off guard. Let me know if there's anything else. I'm just gonna quickly.
Yeah, I think because we're running out of time. Let's just jump into what it was that you wanted to get set up.
Yeah,
I'm sure there'll be some more knowledge bombs being dropped.
I'm just going to check a couple of little things here, and then I will. So these are just potential. This is a conservative one. Oops. Okay. And this one was the more aggressive one, which we broke. So right now, if we kind of look at this from a Fibonacci point of view, the market has gone back to its old resistance, as we said there. It's a perfect line of resistance. You can see that, right? Look how well it's held, bounced. And if you have a look at where it's gone between this kind of yellow and orangey color. So that would give us a next target exactly there, about there. And if you have a look at that, it's a very nice reactive level. So again, as I've been saying today, you could, if you are long Bitcoin, and this does indeed push up here, you could definitely take some profits off the table around 55,200. And the chances is that the market will pull back here and then potentially go again. So it's even if it goes up, you're looking at really this as a scenario. Some kind of old resistance and then up. So again, you could take profits, put it somewhere else, look for a pullback potentially, and then get. So I do this quite a bit. It just increases my gains. Now, every now and again, do you get one that just explodes? You do, but more often than not, if you do the right things, it's worth it. You make more money doing this. So you could close out half. Let's say you went in here, you bought a certain amount of Bitcoin. You might say, do you know what? Okay, I bought £1,000 of Bitcoin there. It's gone up to here. Why don't I close out half of that profit? So now it's at 1.5. You've closed out 750. You've kept 750 in case it goes. Now you've got a spare 750 that maybe you could buy some more Bitcoin here or go and invest it somewhere else where you think there's bigger opportunities. And that's kind of the portfolio management side that really rapidly increases your gains. So yeah, no, that's kind of what I was going to share. That is this here, like the next obvious move up is towards 55. If we break lower and we hold on that 50 EMA that I showed you before here, then the next target down you should be going for is 36.5. We haven't got it drawn in right now. We took it off, but yeah, 36.5 should be your downside target. So in summary, if it holds, rejects, and looks bearish, you can start trading this down from around 44, 45 grand, trade it down to 36. Make that profit, use that profit to go and buy some other spot somewhere else.
Awesome. Great stuff as usual, Mr. Demi. Look, guys, thank you. That's everything we've got time for today. We will still be in the group, so if you've got any questions, post them there. Otherwise, we'll be back next Monday talking all things FX again, and then obviously next Tuesday for the cryptos. Is there anything else you want to say before we leave, mate?
No, I'm going to the gym now.
Posh one or pay-as-you-go one?
No, I'm going to go to the posh one and get a
Nice.
swim in, little sauna, steam room. Yeah, I need it. It's been a long night, but I might end up doing another trading marathon tonight. Who knows? Who knows what's going to go through my head?
We don't know. But obviously, Darth Demi is there with his lightsaber stick, leading the charge in the crypto world. So, guys, good luck wherever you are watching this in the world, whether you're just hodling, whether you're trading, whether you're doing both, whether you're still new to this and you're just kind of taking baby steps in. Good luck, whatever you're doing. Keep taking action. Enjoy the turbulence. And hopefully we'll still see you on the other side. So, yeah, have a great day, guys.
Take care, guys.
We'll be back next week.
Paseamos, chao, chao.